Greetings. So this isn't going to be a reading per se. This is more of a channel message. I wrote down the stuff that I channeled and stuff. So my notes, I will be looking at my notes because it's a lot. It's floodgates. But I have my sister to thank for that because she, like, we just expand off, what each other, what we channel, what we pick up, and then it leads to some more shit. And sometimes it'll be like a reading and then it'll just be some more information. So I'm going to tap more into that. So I wanted to talk about these revelations I have. Now I am going to refer to some things in the Bible. I am not a Bible thumper. I look at the Bible as parables. I look at them as important references and, metaphoric insights, things like that. I don't take it literal. However, the Bible does reference some things that are going on and have been going on and stuff like that. So this is not a religious thing by any means, okay? So, yeah. So the message I was picking up when I was talking to my sister, I was looking at some cards I pulled for her. And I was like, the cards that stood out to me, I had the Death card, I had the Tower, I had the Magician, the Six of Pentacles in reverse, and I had the Judgment card. And I was like, okay, what's happening right now? And someone asked me to, I'll be all over the place probably, but somebody asked me in my happy hour to do a Venus retrograde collective reading, and I was like, this is kind of going into that a little bit, so I'm going to expand on this. So it's what's happening right now is that these karmic energies, past energies, people that are used to you being a certain way, whether this is like friends, family members, lovers, ex-lovers, or people that you mess around with or whatever, are used to you being a certain way, living a certain lifestyle that they're used to, that they were into, that you guys all kicked together, the good old days, right? When you think about those times, you're like, that wasn't good, I wasn't a healthy person, or I was into some bad stuff. Like, that's not a good time in my life, or that wasn't the true me, that wasn't the real me. So that's not the good old days for me. Might be for you, but I'm not in that energy anymore. Or, this time where the exes like to pop up out of nowhere and like try to come in. So this is trying to recreate in a new earth. So spirit is not allowing us to recreate shit from the past, who we used to be, in this new energy that we're coming into. Like, we worked too hard. Like, for those that have been doing their work, their internal work, you work too hard to pull that shit back up. It's almost like, doesn't make sense. You can't recreate something new with old. That's what they say, right? You cannot do new things with old methods or old patterns, right? So what's happening is, because these people are set and stuck in their ways, or stuck in their old ways, spirit's blocking this. It can't even happen. Like, you can't even manifest from that space anymore. So if we're talking about divine connections, because I was reading for my sister in regards to that, when it comes to the divine feminine, divine masculine energy, you're ascending due to your inner work. So these karmic people, like friends, family, exes, lovers, present lovers, whatever, they don't understand that. If they're karmic, they don't get it. Meaning, they don't understand what's going on with you. It's like, oh, you switched up. Oh, you think you better. Or, oh, what's different? What's getting into you? Like, they don't know the changes is because the fact that this person's doing their inner work. So when you're in hermit mode, a lot of people, they don't see that. They don't know what you're growing through. Even if you're still operating amongst the world, going to work, going to school, or just being amongst these people, they don't know secretly that time between you, that space that you have between just you, your higher self, your guides, and God, or, when you're in that space where it's just you, they don't know what you're growing through. So on the outside, they're like, oh, who is this person? They don't know what you're dealing with, right? They're still stuck in their old ways. Like, some of they have the same intentions, but their tricks may be different. Like they'll try to, some of them, they got the same tricks, you know, they got the same stuff that they try to do. And some of them, it's new tricks, right? Like, speaking of exes, we're going to talk about exes and, you know, fuck friends with benefit situations, or some of you guys may be in current situations that are toxic, current relationships that you're still dealing with, some friends with benefits or something like that. Their intentions are still the same, but they may be cloaking with their tricks, you know, the things that they're trying to do, new tricks, rather than doing the inner work. So it's like, oh, to keep him, I'm going to start cooking, or I'm going to cook more, or I'm going to learn some new tricks in the bedroom. Maybe I'll suck some dick more often, or I'll buy her something, or I'm going to spend some money on her, pay her rent just to keep her around, rather than getting it in their mind that it's about the new, it's about doing the inner work. It's not about, that's the whole thing about this. When divine connections, it's not about the whole bigger thing of getting together and being together. It's the work that you got to do within yourself. That's the whole process, and that's what karmic people don't get. You're karmic until you get into that space where you do your work. Some people, it's just not meant for them. Some people are stuck on stupid and they want to be there. They're fine with it. But until you get to that place where you do your inner work, you're karmic to anybody you come across, period. You're karmic to any man, woman, friend, like anybody you meet until you heal. So yeah, some of their intentions are still the same, like, oh, you know, I'm gonna change my hair, you know, I'm gonna start working out, I'm gonna get, you know, make sure my ass is fatter, blah blah blah, I'm gonna, you know, do some new tricks in the bedroom. And it's like, that's not what it's about. It's not what it's about. But so there's no inner growth, there's no evolution in these karmic energies. They're still the same, that they're still stuck on the same stuff, right? So they can't enter or even understand. They don't even understand. They don't understand, and they don't even understand what's going on outside of the surface with you. They can't figure it out. Some of them may be like, oh, well, why isn't he responding to my sexy picture? Oh, why doesn't, oh, she ain't trying to see me tonight. Like, why isn't she falling for the same tricks? Because you've evolved. You've evolved. So any changes within the divine masculine, divine feminine, they don't get it, because they're still stuck in an old timeline. Hence why they're trying to recreate that same energy again, like, oh, you know, back in the day we used to be like this and such, and it's not working. It doesn't work anymore, because the vibrations are different. They're not even aligned anymore. They can probably withstand in the same energy space sometimes, but it's just like the energy's off. And you could feel energy when something's off. You have a conversation with someone and it's just not vibing right. You just like, or you're annoyed, or you're bored, or it's just like, you could feel it. So I feel like that's what's happening. And this could be with certain other connections, like platonic ones. It does not always have to be romantic based, but yeah. So the divine won't allow this recreation to happen again, because it's a new earth, aka a new paradigm. This is a completely new energy. And the judgment card stood out to me. The judgment card stood out to me because it reminds me of the book of Revelations in the Bible, because it's like that final judgment call, right? Book of Revelations. So something led me to go into that. But the past pretty much is being closed out. So what's happening is we're sitting in between the judgment energy and the world card, because the world card represents that completion of a cycle, a karmic cycle. So it's kind of like we're still in the judgment phase, where shit is like being cleared out, coming up to the surface, and then the world is like where everything is at a close, it's done. So we're like in between that. So the past and others are, the past energies are coming up, or the people are coming back into your life, or they're coming to you in your dreams or whatever. It's because like this is for you to reassess and reevaluate this, because it's being cleared out. It's got to go. Like, you got to make peace with that energy. My bad. You got to make peace with that energy and let it go. So it's coming back to test you, whether you're still going to entertain that energy, or you're done with it. Sometimes it's like, you know, you're done with the energy, but you still kind of entertain it to some extent, or you don't know how to make it stop or tell them no. So that's also up for judgment, right? Some people are already in a position where they've closed something out. Some people are being put in a position to either leave a situation that does not serve them, or they're planning to leave situations, connections, platonic or romantic, alone, that do not serve them. So Spirit's saying to pay attention to your dreams, especially sex dreams, because if they can't get you in the physical, they'll try to get you in the spirit realm. Sex dreams is an easy way for someone to pull you back in. So speaking of dreams, I had a dream of this guy. I'm just tell you guys, it's embarrassing because it was like the way they would treat me in a dream, and you got to pay attention to who people are in dreams. So I had this dream of this guy that I was like all into back in the day. Like I was pining after, and I wanted to be with him and such, so bad, like so bad. It was horrible. But in my dream, he came in my dream, and he was like, you know, treating me kind of slutty. He was like bragging to this other guy, like, oh, I bet you she won't do this for you, but watch when I do it to her, like, watch how she reacts, like treating me like a little, you know, a little smut. And I woke up and I was disgusted. So that wasn't the first time he came in my dream. It was another dream he came in, and it was like some sexual exchange that was trying to happen and go down. So I knew like that was a test for me to see where I was still in that space. So you might entertain it a little bit, and it might trigger some things and make you think about that time, like, oh, when back in the day when I wanted this person. And then you look, so Spirit uses that to see where you at, and then you go and you dabble into it, and you be like, ugh, like I don't like I don't even want it anymore. Like it's just like So that's how you know. And then there was another instance where I had a dream of someone else, and it was like, why y'all come in my dream? And he was stealing from me. Like an ex of mine was in my dream stealing from me, coming in my space, laughing at me like, oh, I'm about to, like, I'm taking over your space or whatever. And I was like, you gotta go. It was like they were trying to interfere in a space that they had no permission to be in. Basically, that's how I took it. So you're going to have dreams about these people where they're going to try to come in, they're going to try to test you, hit you up, text you, you know, do whatever they have to do, or try to like extend their time with you. So what they're going to try to do, and if they can't do it in the waking life, they're going to do it in your dreams. Try to play house with you in your dreams, or try to convince you and play tricks and stuff like that. But you got to pay attention to how you feel in the dream. Like I said, Spirit showed me like, this is disgusting, like he's smutting me out in a dream. Like, no, I'm good. No. So yeah, pay attention to your dreams. So you can't take the old into the new. You cannot. Like, you can't take the old you into the new. Anything or anyone trying to pull you back into that old space that you used to be in, that person is not only a fucking fool, but they're also a tool to hold you back. They're a fucking fool, and they're a tool to hold you back. They're agents. They mean you no good. Like, why would you promote me being my old self? I went to hell and back, literally. The death card is that ego death. Like when we go into that space within ourselves where it's really dark, where we have to face ourselves. It feels like we're fucking dying when we're in that phase and that stage. I went to hell and back to shed all that shit off of me. Why would I even go back to who I used to be? So anybody that's trying to pull you back into that energy is not of your highest good. Not at all. So I'm going to get into the Judgment card and how I broke down the book of Revelations as far as the 7 trumpets. Because if you look at the Judgment card in the traditional tarot, the angel is holding a trumpet. There's 7 trumpets, aka 7 chakras. I'm going to go ahead and break that down. And it's a little bit, I'm going to go into it. So the trumpet 1, the first trumpet, which is the root chakra, in Revelations 8 and 7, it says, hell and fire mixed with blood. So immediately when I heard that, yes, Archangel Gabriel, the messenger of God, immediately when I heard that, it made me think of the root chakra, hell, fire. That's the bottomless pit, as they say, right? Everything in the Bible is parables. So yes, some of this stuff is happening in the physical or has happened in the past years and stuff like that. Like in the book of Revelation, certain things are coming to pass, but also as within, so without. So it's also within ourselves. So trumpet 2, Revelations 8:8. A great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea, and a third of the sea became blood, the sacral chakra, right? So especially for women with wombs, we bleed from our sacral chakra, so that is like, that's pretty much self-explanatory. Like that makes a lot of sense if you look at it from that place. Trumpet 3, Revelations 8:10, which is our solar plexus. A great star fell from heaven, blazing like a torch, the sun, solar. And it fell on the third of the rivers, on the spring of water. So that's our solar plexus. Trumpet 4, Revelations 8:12, which would be our heart chakra. It talks about the solar eclipse where the sun and the moon collide, and it's like a darkness that comes over it. That's when you get to your heart chakra, like when you reach, like you, the hardest place, the hardest chakra to tap into, to open and to heal is the heart chakra. That's like one of the hardest like places to reach, is because this is the gateway to all of the higher chakras, because the solar is like the last of the lower, and then you get to your higher self, and the gateway to the higher self is the heart chakra. So that's the hardest space to get into. So you're dealing with darkness and you're dealing with light. This is like that space where you fight. So trumpet 4 being the heart chakra. Then we get to the trumpet 5 through 7, which they talk about in Revelations 8:13, which is the 3 woes. The 3 woes is the throat, the third eye, and the crown chakra, which talks about great pain, aka the ego death. When you get to these places, you go through the most pain, right? You start having ascension symptoms. You start having issues with your throat chakra, your headaches, your stomach aches. Like you start going through the ego death once you get about, I won't say always because it's different, because we go through different awakenings. So I won't say always, but these are the most challenging to get to. So when we talk about the throat chakra, which is the trumpet 5 in Revelations 9:5, it says, though we're allowed torment, or they were allowed torment for 5 months. So 5 months in the Bible could be anything. So how I took it is, when you're going through that dark night of the soul, it can last years, it can last months, it can last days, or it could just fluctuate. Because like I said, we don't just have one awakening, we have many awakenings. So I took that as like whatever. So, but we can be tormented but not killed. So that's the ego death. Like we're tormented. Like I don't know if you guys ever went through an ego death. It is not fun. It's not. I've been through a couple of them where it's like, am I dying? I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. Like, oh my God, this is horrible. And it's like you're dealing with a lot, and it's like you almost want to tap out of here, or say fuck spirituality, or just fuck this life, fuck this world. I don't want to deal with it. You start breaking down. But it's like, it's not going to kill you. It makes you stronger. So that's why it says we're allowed torment for 5 months, but not to kill them. So these angels, or these demons that were sent down, as they call them in the Bible, the fallen angels were sent down to torment. So this represents all of our shadow self, the painful memories, the negative thoughts we have in our mind, the torment that we go through. Like we're allowed all of that because it's making us stronger. It's not to kill us, it's to make us stronger. So it says the torment was a sting of a scorpion, aka Scorpio, which is the death card. The death card is ruled by Scorpio. So the sting was of a great scorpion equals the death card is what I put. So that's the ego death in short. A fallen angel will be sent down, equivalent to our inner demons, to torment anyone who is not a believer or with a seal of God on their forehead, which represents divine light, aka the crown chakra is what they're talking about. So throat chakra. Then you have trump 6. Trump 6 would be the third eye chakra. It says 4 angels who had been prepared for the hour, the day, the month, the year, were released to kill a third of the mankind. So the third of you, that's the ego. That's part of your lower consciousness, if that makes sense. So these inner torment, these demons, these things that bother us, they're meant to destroy the ego. Like, that's what they're here for. We're here to dismantle those things, right? So that's pretty much what I got from that. So what I got from the months and the days and the years is like, that's your preparation for the higher awakenings. So you go through this periodically. Like, I don't know if you guys notice, you go through these different stages within your spirituality, your healing and stuff like that, off and on. It's not a consistent thing. So it says, it released 4 angels and ordained them, or ordered them, to battle and to kill a third of the humanity, which is the ego. They ride horses and wear red, blue, and yellow armors. So red, that's the foundation, that's your root chakra. The blue, which is your throat chakra, that's your truth or your false truth. So it's coming in to destroy the false foundations with the root chakra, false truths. And the yellow, which is the solar plexus, that anything that fucks with your inner strength, these are the tests that you'll grow through. Because a lot of times, like, when you're evolving within yourself, you have those great tests where it tests your faith and your belief, the truth of who you are, your inner knowing, your confidence, your inner strength, the foundation you stand on, like, when you go through that test. So this is like, you go through that battle within yourself before you reach that higher level. It's always a, how they say it is, when you reach new level, new devils, right? So it's an inner battle within yourself. This isn't so much it's not about the flesh part. That's only a part of it. It's the inner battle, right, within self. So the trumpet 7 that they talk about in Revelations 11 and 15, it says, there were loud voices in heaven, divine guidance. That's the higher self starting to awaken. That's you hearing more clearly. The more you get to these spaces, you hear divine clearly. You hear your spiritual team, your guides, your angels. You start to hear saying, there were loud voices in heaven saying, the kingdom of the world has become the kingdom our Lord and of Christ, shall reign forever and ever. So that represents the oneness and the wholeness and the enlightenment, that right there. So this is where, in this chapter, this is where the covenant comes together. So the covenant is like, this is where, when you reach that state of wholeness, this is when you are in alignment with all that is. This is people that are in your vibration, your alignment. This is where people come together. It says rejoice equals, rejoice is that energy, like when you get past that stage where you go through your ego death, because we have many of them. When you get to that place, that's where you feel lighter in your energy. You may even look different energetically. You feel better, you're happier, you're clearer, you're grounded. So that's the rejoicing energy. You feel more connected. And it says, those who are stubborn and set in their ways will bear witness to the miracle of your healing, transformation. It's a miraculous thing, because you will be anew and walking in your purpose, doing the things that those that doubted you, shamed you, and judged you. So when you come to this great awakening, people are going to bear witness to that, because you've been doing your work. So you went through many awakenings, but it's the stage that you're getting into, this new phase. You can't go back to who you used to be. It's impossible, because you're a new person, a new creature, a new thing. You're not the same. So people are going to see that. And the reason why it's going to be so miraculous is because what you grew from. So a lot of you are people that a lot thought that you could never, or he or she, oh, you can never do this, or you'll never be that, or you remember how you used to be a gangbanger, or remember how you used to be a prostitute. It's going to shock people. Or you were someone that was single for years and you finally have that healthy relationship, something they told you could never do. Oh, you'll never graduate, you'll never be this, oh, you'll never have $1 billion company, whatever. you're going to show them that. And it's not for your glory, but it's for the divine to get the glory, because it's going to shift people to go higher in their consciousness. That's what this is about. It's for people to raise up higher vibrational energy. This lower shit can't last forever. For some people, that's what they're here for. That's what they're here to do. But for others, it's like you're going to be used to help other people awaken and to call them into their greatness, not for your glory, again, for the divine. Like, everything is about this purpose, like for you to get out of this lower vibrational energy, this lower vibrational realm. Like, you're meant to get out of here, to ascend out of here. So it says, they will see the grace of God, which is the wholeness and oneness and self-love within you, radiating outside of you. So again, if we want to take this to divine connections, your relationship, or your connection rather, it's not about the glory of saying, oh, I have a man, or I have a woman, or oh, I have a soulmate, I have a twin flame. It's not about that. It's the energy that you radiate of love. And you have to be of self-love. A lot of people are still caught up in the codependent aspect of it. Oh, I just I want my twin flame. Oh, we're gonna be in union. Like, that's like, that shit's down here. When you get to the place where it's about purpose, and it's about like the higher aspect of what you're doing and why, it's a different ball game. It has nothing to do with that. Like, that's okay. I mean, we're human, you know, but it's not about that. But yeah, I was like, Spirit, what a download. And I was led to look at Revelations. I was guided to look at it. Like, it hit me, because I was like, I need to find something that resonates with what I'm channeling, what I'm picking up. And I was led to Revelations 21 through 8. It's very long. And it gave me chills, because I knew this was what it was. I'll read some of it to you, or I'll probably read it all and break it down in the way that I picked it up. So it says, then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away. This is a new paradigm. This is a new realm. And there was no longer any sea. So there was no restrictions, no bounds, none of that. Like, the heaven and the earth. So the heaven represents the higher consciousness. The earth represents the lower, or the physical realm. The heavens represents the spiritual realm. So all is being shifted, as above, so below. So it's old, done with the old, in with the new. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride, beautifully dressed for her husband. Meaning, this is union between, the bride is union between divine feminine and self first, because everything is within, then without, and then dressed to meet her husband, which is balanced within your higher self, your divine masculine, divine feminine self. It's also the God within you, as above, so below. So of course, this is going to manifest outwardly for those of you that resonate with this on a divine partnership level. You have to do the inner work. There is no way around it. Why I say there's no way around it is because you're going to be met with the inner work regardless of what you do. It's always going to point back to you. There's no way you could skip past this. Like, even if you wanted to, you can't. If you know what I know, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell in them. That's the people saying, look, I see the God in that person. They may not say that, but it's like, there's something different about you. You changed. You look different. You look like, that's the God within you, meaning that when you did your work, like, you look different. Like, you look different. You feel different. Yeah, that's what that means. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. So that is that oneness. Like, and you could take it as in a spiritual sense as well, that God be within you, because when you align yourself with that higher consciousness, that what they call Christ consciousness, the oneness with the creator, and you being one with that energy and your divinity, it shows. It's a glow with it. It's a glow. It is. It literally is a glow. He will wipe every tear from their eyes, and there will be no more death. Meaning, Wipe every tear from your eyes. This is comfort. This is after you come out of the death. So I'm using the tarot because the tarot is like it's like a how do I explain it? It's like a story, but it really breaks down the fool's journey, which is our journey of life. The fool is like when we come into this planet, when we come into this earth, it's nothingness. We come into this new realm. We're like thrown into this new realm. Then we start with the manifestation, which is the magician. Come to the high priestess, which is learning, coming into who we are, learning about ourselves in the Hierophant. And it's also the conditioning. I feel like with the Hierophant is that conditioning of who we are and what we're supposed to be when we come into this earth plane and this existence. Then we are met with the Lovers card. So Lovers is like that choice where you are in between your awakening stage where it's like, okay, I can either choose to stay where I'm at, blue pill, red pill, or do I choose to go higher? You choose your soul, you walk into that. Chariot card, you got to follow divine guidance. You got to follow the alignment of where you're going. You have no control really at that point because it's like you surrendered to a higher calling. So now it's like you got to get in alignment with that higher calling. Then you're met with the Strength card. That's the battle with the ego. That's the first battle with the ego that you have to face. You're fighting. It's a fight between the higher self and the ego man. Like y'all fighting. Who's really stronger? Then you're met with the Hermit. That's when you go in your hermit mode, you taking everything on in, you're isolating yourself. It's like, what the fuck is life? Where the fuck am I at? What am I supposed to be doing? Why am I in this position? And then you get to the Wheel of Fortune and it's like your life is upside down. Shit just turns upside down. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's like shit just turns upside down, then it switches, and then you're up again. You're like, oh, I feel better. Oh, and it's like this never-ending wheel, but it's like you think you're in control, but you're not in control. It's a higher order, it's a higher plan. Everything is already planned. Then you get to the Justice card. Justice, again, you have a choice. Like, it's like I'm met with a karmic choice and decision, and you may even have to look at all the other things that you did before you got to where you are at that point. Then you get to the Hangman, where shit gets real right there too, because the Hangman is like, you have to be okay of being stripped of your ego, and that's where it's like you feel like Spirit's putting your ass out to dry. I call the Hangman the Jesus card. The Jesus card is like, it's like Jesus is told he was the Messiah, right? But it's like, if I'm the Messiah, why are you forsaking me? Why am I going through this? Why is this happening to me? Why am I being ostracized? Why am I being crucified? Why am I here? And it's to strip you of your fucking ego. It's like, are you really ready? Like, this is humbling moment. So let's say, for instance, for some of you, the Hangman could be you lose your job, you lose a house, you lose your lovers, whatever. It's like you're stripped of something. You got to be stripped of your ego, and that's what brings enlightenment, more enlightenment, because it makes you see things from a different perspective where you're in that place. Did I really lose, or is this something that's meant to help me grow or process things? Like, how do I explain it? I think I'm going too far into this. I don't know, like, I think I went too far into this. Then you get to the Death card. That's the ego death. That's where the shit gets really dark. And that's when you're faced and confronted by all the shit that you thought you healed, or things you didn't even know you needed to heal, things that swept under the rug. You are dealing with all of that, and it's like away with all the shit. It's the Grim Reaper comes in, because it's like meant to destroy and dismantle anything that is not serving you. It's a deep, dark space to be in. Anybody that's reached that point of the Death card, you literally feel like you're dying, or whether that be physically or just within yourself, you don't want to do it anymore. That's sometimes where you reach the suicidal thoughts, where you get to that place, or you question your existence. Like, am I even supposed to be here? Am I even supposed to do this? It's because that old energy's falling off, because that mask is coming off. The false you has got to go. Then you reach the Temperance. That's where the balance starts to come in. That's when you start to feel a little bit at peace after you release all that energy. It's the upgrades is coming in. All of that balance is coming in. Feeling a little better, a little soothed. Then you come into the devil. That's where the temptation comes in, because you're being tested again. So the devil comes in and it's like, have you really released? This is where you also face your fears, your you have. This is where you meet with that. So you're tested in that moment. Are you going to give in to your lower man? Are you going to give in to your fears? Or are you going to surpass this? So cool. You get past the codependencies, the obsessions and stuff, or one or two of them, because we don't just have one awakening. Remember, we don't have just one. So then you get past the devil. That's when you get to the tower. Dum, 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 the tower. Oh, shit. Some more shit happening. Why is this happening to me? Spirit, why are you doing this to me? What is happening? And Spirit's like, I'm dismantling all that shit. Didn't you let that shit go? Didn't I tell you to let it go? And if you took heed to it, it's not as painful. But if you, like me, that's a little stubborn and you know that you should have let go, or it's something that you're being prepared for, the triggers and stuff like that, you'll be up on game. But for some time, like sometimes with me, I'm not. I get triggered. But I don't know. I think this is probably going way over people's head, but spirits make me break it down for some reason. Like, for some reason, I didn't even break it down this way ever in my life, so it's kind of crazy. So I'm channeling, getting a download. After the tower, because the tower is like all the foundations that are faulty have to come down. And in the thick of it, it's like you have no control, you're afraid, you are trying to figure out what just happened. And if you think about a tower that is burning and it's falling, it's smoke, it's debris you can't see. But once it settles, that's when the awakenings, more epiphanies, more clarity, more understanding your triggers, understanding of yourself, understanding your journey, where you're at. So you notice in the tower, there's two people. In a lot of the cards in the tarot, there's always two energies. There's always a masculine and feminine. Again, the principle of balance, masculine and feminine within yourself, is always there. But it can also represent your lower self, your yin and your yang. It always represents that. So after the tower, you have the moon. This is where you're being guided to trust your inner guidance and your inner knowing. The whole time that you were on this path, it may have felt like you were just I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. What am I doing? Where am I at? Where am I going? I'm lost. Like this, where am I at? This is the place where you have to trust spirit and your inner guidance and your inner knowing. You always have a choice. Because if you notice, again, the duality, you got one wolf and you have the other wolf. It's a black wolf and a white wolf. It's up to you. What choice? Do you trust or you don't? Because either you go or you get dragged. After the moon, after darkness comes the light. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. So after you go through that darkness, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So like they say, as I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, or something like that. So you got to go through your shadows in order to find the light at the end of the tunnel. You got to. You get to the sun. This is the rejuvenation. That trust. So the Fool is also an energy of trust too. But I feel like with the moon, you can't see everything. You don't have all of the information. You don't have the ins and outs. The moon only highlights and illuminates what you're supposed to see. So when you're in that state, again, you have to trust. You have to use your inner compass, your inner guidance. You have to listen to yourself. You have to follow that inner knowing, whether you follow the divine, whatever you want to call it, whatever you're connected to, that inner compass within you is going to guide you. So you get to the sun. The sun card is that childlike energy. Childlike energy that's rejuvenated, that's lighter, that's free. That's that light that's on you. Then you reach judgment. So fine job, my child, you did your job. You trusting, you opening, you moving, you flowing through this shit. You feel like the sun card, you radiating. Good job. Now I'm gonna bring all this shit back. Like years of shit, decades of shit back, and I want you to review these things. Look at it and see how far you come. Review everything that you've gone through. So this is that all of this is leading up to the judgment, which is where you are. Then you get to the world. The world card is job well done. You're done. You're done with that fucking cycle. It's done. You close the shit out. It's done. But the thing is, the journey never ends. So, you know, journey never ends. It's not, that's the end all be all. But in short, you know. So that was a lot. Oh my God. So yeah, yeah, for the older things have passed away. He who is seated on the throne said, I am making everything new. Then he said, write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true. So this is the throne, I feel like represents the crown chakra as well. It represents that higher divinity, that higher place. You're going to start getting more clarity, more messages at this time. Like, trust what you're getting, even if you're not writing it down, if it's just coming to you, if it's coming to you in a dream and it sticks out, it stands out. Trust this, because when you're in the presence of the divine, you can't be misled. You're not in that space anymore. He said unto me, it is done. I am the Alpha, the Omega. The Alpha, the Fool, the Omega, the World card. So that is the beginning and the end of your journey. But if you take it from a higher consciousness, the divine creator, is no beginning, there's no ending. Everything just fucking is, if that makes sense. So there's no ending to this. It's not, I don't want anybody to think that this is a false sense of, oh, I reached the pivot of everything in life and my life is just, that's it. There's no growth, there's no evolution. Like, no, like, you gotta get out of here. You gotta ascend past this. Like, there's no just one stop. At least I don't believe that. But to the thirsty, I will give water without cost, from the spring of the water of life. So this is knowing that everything is endless. Everything is infinite. Everything is abundance. When you get to this place, those who are victorious will inherit all of this, and I will be their God, and they will be my children. So once you reach that place of wholeness within yourself, you inherit the earth, meaning you inherit all of the secrets in the divine. In how to explain it? Slow down. When you reach this place, this new earth, this new energy, this new frequency, you understand that everything is given unto you, because everything is abundance. Everything is infinite supply, whether it's material, whether it's spiritual. You reach that, it's a higher consciousness. I don't know how to explain it. And I feel like everything within is also reflected without. So however this manifests in the physical, however that manifests. Then it says, but the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the sexual immoral, those who practice magic arts, the idolaters, the all liars, they will be consigned to the fire lake of burning sulfur. This is the second death. So I'm not taking it like, oh, you're going to hell. All of those that have not faced their shadows, it's going to be real bad. If you guys ever seen the Bird Box show or whatever, the people, like, what they were seeing was terrifying them. It was like, it was causing people to kill themselves, suicide. Like I was saying, when you go through your ego death, you get to a place where it's like, it's dark and it's heavy. So for a lot of people that have not faced their shadows in the times that we're coming into, because if you're not in that higher mind and you're looking at everything that's happening in this world, hence buying fucking toilet paper like a fucking jackass, buying toilet paper off the ass, taking up all the Lysol and bleach that you can find, going fucking crazy and mad over a, I won't say temporary situation, and I won't say that it's not a real situation. But when you're in the divine and the higher self, you know that this stuff is not real. It's not real in a sense that you don't feed into these things. This life is temporary, for one. This fleshly suit is temporary. So if you are done here, it means you're done. If you get taken out, it means you're done here. On to the next. But it's like feeding into the illusion, you'll fucking go crazy. And you'll want to kill yourself because you can't withstand it. It's too much for you. It becomes too much. Oh, I lost my job and it's real shit. Yeah, I can't say that it's not real shit because it's happened. Or I lose your house. I know. Losing your house, you ain't got nowhere to go, you know, got to stay in hotel stays because you can't find a place, you don't have the money to do this, you don't have the money to do that. It's real situations, it happens, but you can't get lost and engulfed in that. You can't lose yourself in this shit. It's illusion. So when you're in the higher state, you understand things on a different level. You don't get caught up in this stuff. So the Bird Box was like seeing some shit that some people are not willing to face it. And I understand it. It's not easy. So the burning and the sulfur, the fiery lake, it's like, that's the ego. That's like, fuck, like, it's torment. Anybody that's ever dealt with anxiety in your pit of your stomach, you deal with those butterflies and that anxiousness, and you feel like you're losing your ground, you feel ungrounded. That's that feeling, but times 10. It's like fucking whirlwind. Like, I need somebody to like attest to this. Like, if anybody's ever went through an ego death, anybody that's ever been in that cycle where you feel like you're losing your fucking mind and you feel like you're crazy and you feel like, am I even gonna be here tomorrow? Because I might want to jump off a fucking building. I'm gonna tell you, I was tripping one time. I was going through it and I was like, am I fucking crazy? Like, is this anything of this stuff real? And it's because my mind was being dismantled of all the bullshit I was taught, all the bullshit that I saw on TV. Like, certain TV shows was coming up in my mind. I thought I was crazy, and that's the programming, and all that stuff was coming out. It was coming crashing down, but I was freaking out because I thought I was crazy. How I was processing it was lower vibrational, because I was in that low vibration of fear and anxiety and all of that. But it was like, I was seeing things, hearing things, I was putting things together, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. Like, and I started watching The Matrix, and that fucked my head up. And I was like, am I gonna kill myself? Because I was really there. And if you're not careful, those spirits will try to come in and tell you. And I was in that space, and they were like, yeah, you should kill yourself. That's matter of fact, it's like, you should kill yourself. And I was like, oh my God. And all the while I was in here, and my family just walking around like normal, like, and doing their own thing, and I'm sitting in here fucking tripping out. That's that energy. Being stripped and dismantled of all that bullshit. Like, oh my God, am I a bad person because I did this when I was like 5? And oh my God, I shouldn't have. Fucking crazy. It's removing all of that. And when you get past that energy, then the peace and the calm, you start to feel a little more balanced. Like, okay, a relief, because you just released something. You got to look at it as like it's a spiritual vomit. Like, you're letting out all that gunk that was programmed into you, start to finish, all the stuff that's not of you. And I always tell people, if it's something that doesn't feel right to you, it's not you. That's not our essence. Is not those true like, those are not our true essences. When we have those energies of doubt, insecurity, fear, anxiety, those are foreign energies. Those are not things of us, if that makes sense. That's how you know. If it's something that doesn't feel good to you, that's not coming from you, that's not of divine, or it's warning. It could be a warning too, you know. Certain things could be warnings, heads up. But yeah, Spirit does not tell you you're stupid. Spirit does not tell you you're ugly or you're never going to be this. You got to know the difference between spirit. And that's something I'm learning more about, because my relationship with the Creator has been warped because of my journey, my path. I felt like I was being abandoned by spirit. I felt like I was being punished by something. Like, I'm being punished. Why am I still here? Why is this happening to me? Like, that's how I looked at it. I was in a pessimistic state, rather than knowing that I was never left nor forsaken, meaning I'm never alone on my journey. Even if people of God or the Creator manifest themselves as people along my journey, I'm never alone if I really look at it. We're never alone on our journey. So, I said all this to say, hopefully this is helping us. So I had to heal. And on top of that, I am healing currently from the orphan spirit of feeling like, even though I had both parents, they got divorced eventually at some point in my life, but I always had both of them there. But it was always this feeling of like being by myself, feeling like pressured because I was the oldest, or I was the oldest grandchild. So I always felt this pressure to be something and be a certain way, to uphold myself a certain way. And plus I had those type of pressures put on me as well. So I always kind of felt like caged in and felt like I had nobody. So I always had to be my own, like, oh, you know, I got to do everything by myself and do it by my, you know. And if I leaned upon people, it was codependency. It wasn't true teamwork. It wasn't true balance and wholeness and exchange. Therefore, the the narcissist and empath dynamics that I was attracting through friendships, through romantic partners, that all that stuff was a product of the orphan spirit. If you don't know what that is, look it up. But I had that syndrome, and that's that, oh, I can't trust anybody, or I can't even trust my own creator, the creator that made me. I can't trust my parents wholeheartedly and fully. I didn't feel like I had that support. So I walked through life with that on my back. So I'm still healing from that. So this journey is to strip you of your ego, regardless of whatever journey you choose, whether it's the journey of, I don't know, twin flames, whether it's the journey of, I not supposed to be here. I got in a really bad accident and I almost died and I came back. Some people, that's their journey, and it's figuring out who they are through that. Like, people have to grow through different cycles in their life. Spirit will use certain things to put us on our we're always on our path, but to put us in alignment with our true path and our purpose in life, if that makes sense. So for me, for example, my whole awakening started with this the twin flame shit, as a lot of people. And I understand that's why I attract a lot of people on my channel that deal with that, because that's the situation that I was growing through. So it's meant to help you identify and learn about yourself, so you can get to that divinity within yourself and that connectedness with all that is. So it's a never-ending journey, but there is a silver lining. We're not just here to just suffer and be miserable. That's the false paradigm that we've been taught to believe, that we are meant to suffer and that's all that is. And you're a bad person, you have no choice, and such, and all this bullshit that we've been taught. The thing is for you to find that connection within God. I could say all of this, but you again have to find that understanding with your creator, like how you take this, if you take it at all. What does life mean to you? What does divinity mean to you? What's your purpose? How do you get there? Like, nobody can truly tell you that but you. We have to have our own personal relationship with our creator and ourselves. That's what this is all about. We don't, we'll get lost in the sauce with everything, So yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot. I don't know. I had to share that because I'm like, okay, it was flowing through me. I was like, I have to share this. It's something. I don't know. I gotta share it. So I wanted to share that with y'all. All the other stuff just came out of left field. I don't even know where that came from with the tarot breakdown, the major arcana breakdown. I don't know where that came from. But, well, I do know where it came from, but I wasn't expecting that. So I hope that made sense too, because the way that it came in was like, okay. But yeah, I'm thinking about making some changes on my channel because I want to help people where they're at in their journey. And I hope that I'm not creating codependency on my channel with like these love readings and stuff. Because I'm guided to help people because, again, my path to awakening started with the twin flame journey stuff. Like, that was my path, awakening. I do believe in divine connections. I do. But I don't feel like they could fully come together until we come together with ourselves. Like, there's no, like I said, this self-love journey, like, there's no way around it. Like, you cannot surpass this, even if you fucking want to. People, and I say this too, let me say this, because people think that, oh, I could just, I could just hop from dick to dick, excuse my language, man to man, or I can jump to woman, and I'll just forget about this. You're going to manifest the same situation or outcome in that person, or they're going to trigger the same shit out of you that the last person triggered but you didn't heal. It's going to happen again until you really look at yourself, because it's not about these people. It's not. Like, that's half of it. That's half of it. So pretty much what I'm trying to say is I hope that I'm not creating a falseness of these types of connections. I understand it on a spiritual level that these connections are not for the I won't say that they're not for the lower self, because we're here to procreate, and we get pleasure through sex, of course, and it's a human nature to want to be connected to people and be one with a person, and all of that other stuff that humans are into, and how we get down, when it comes to love. But on a higher level, it's a much bigger purpose than that. It's a much more beautiful thing, and the codependency gets tested a lot with these connections, because timing, we get codependent on timing. We get codependent on how something is going to manifest, when, where, how, who. Sometimes we get codependent in that, and that's okay to have questions and want to know and all of that, and desire and to long. But when it becomes like a crutch or an imbalance to you, that's where it becomes toxic and it's not healthy. So yeah, so these connections on a higher level, I feel like they do exist. Some people beg to differ. Some people think that you're supposed to have 10 baby mamas in one house. Some people feel like that's cool. And some people think that, oh no, you're supposed to have multiple wives and husbands. And, for some people, maybe that's their path. I ain't shaming nobody, because I feel like everybody has a path. But nature says, and what spirit has shown me, is like, everything has a balance, everything has an opposite. And I don't feel like we got like 5, 10 opposites. I just don't believe that. I'm sorry. But if that's y'all, you path, that's cool. That's you. So, I'm not here to argue with anyone, but I'll help people as long as I'm led to help people with their divine connections, and help them to show, what's going on with them, confirm or deny whatever they're dealing with. But I do also want to speak to people that are in their singleness, because singleness is not a curse, and I'm getting to that place where it's not a fucking curse. Like, I'm telling you, like, I have zero, like, nothing's popping off, okay? So sometimes it can get a little harsh, and you could say to yourself, okay, well, I'm at such and such age, what am I doing wrong? And society says you're doing something wrong. Either your standards are too high, and sometimes that could be the case for, some cases that could be true. But, in society's eye, if you ain't married by 30, or you ain't got kids, or you haven't been in a relationship for so long, people like, okay, either you're gay, or whatever people be saying, or something's wrong with you, you must be hard to deal with. And if you feed into that, you'll start to believe it. But if you connect with your higher self, you connect with the creator to understand where you are. I got into a place where I understand this is where I'm supposed to be for a reason. Because if I look at it from another perspective, and some of y'all could probably agree with this, like, if you look at yourself in the past or where you are now, if you were to get into a relationship of your dreams, would you really be ready? Would you really be ready for that if you got into it? And I said it to myself, like, as much as I would want to have, be in divine union and such, or be married or whatever, am I really ready? And I feel like to some degree, yes, some degree, no. I still have some little stuff that I got to deal with that I have not healed yet. So think about it. Like, it'd be cool. But I think about it from a higher level, like, spirit, if this is a connection of my dreams, and not to say that we won't have issues, or, that, like, it's just going to be so perfect, but you'll have more of a mature response, and more mature emotional intelligence, understand you and your person, because you understand yourself, they understand themselves, you guys it's a willingness. The ego gotta be, like, the ego can't be in a divine union. It cannot be the head of it. A lot of connections today are led by the ego in their flesh. Oh, her ass is fat. Oh, he got money. Like, stupid stuff. Oh, they got some clout. Like, this, like, today, everything is so fucking stupid. People are just fucking lost their minds. I don't know. It's just fucking sad. Or, oh, because that's my baby daddy, we just gonna be together. And that was me. I tried to create something that was not supposed to be, because that person I had a child with them. That was me. So I'm not judging nobody, but, she was down for me with such and such, like, stupid stuff. Like, stuff that does not hold no weight. Like, the ego rules everything nowadays. Like, it's stupid. But, you know, get it how you live. I mean, if a fat ass is your heaven, money makes you come, that's your thing. I'm not gonna judge nobody, but I'm just saying, like, when you're in the divine union, the ego, because it's not about you and your person per se, physically, like on a fleshly thing. It's bigger than that. So you have to put your ego aside. Unconditional love is key. If you don't have that unconditional love, then what is it? Like, it's 11:11. So y'all, I say all of this to say, okay, because I'm still going, like, spirits always talking about where I was taking my channel. I want to help people where they are within their singleness, and it's not a curse. Some of you guys are like wanting me to do single readings because you want to know if somebody, like, I'm not here to help anybody escape. If you're in a divine connection with someone and it's not popping off when you want it to, or it's not happening and you want to see what's good with somebody else, I can't condone that, because I just can't. But if you want to know where you're at in your singlehood journey and what you're supposed to be doing and all that, then, you know, I'm your girl. I can do readings like that. But I'm not going to be condoning no energies like, okay, I'm single. Okay, when's this next? Because this one over here is getting on my nerves. I mean, if it comes up that somebody is supposed to come into your life, I'm open to whatever comes through. But my intentions are not to help people. Okay? I don't know why my super chat's not open. I don't know. You guys, if it's for a donation, I have a donations tab. If it's to ask a question, I'm not doing that right now, y'all. So yeah, I will, you know, help y'all with that, with your guys' situation. I might do more talks if spirit leads me to, like, share things with you guys. Of course, I'm gonna share my downloads and stuff like that. But as far as like personal stuff and like self-help stuff, you know, if I'm led to, I will discuss that, because I have not fully mastered everything on my journey. I'm still in my process. I'm still being prepped right now for wherever I'm, you know, my next phase is. Not completely mastered on that yet, so I can't speak on everything unless I'm led to, of course. But yeah, so I'm going to, you know, put a little bit of a focus on, thank you, Brandon, for your donation. Thank you. I appreciate it. Blessings. So yeah, what I'm led to, I'll do more single readings. I'll still do, you know, what's going on with your connections and stuff like that. How does your person feel? Again, I want to be very careful about not being someone that causes or creates codependency. I know it's a self thing. I'm not responsible for anybody's codependent behaviors, but I don't want to condone codependent behaviors, if that makes sense. I don't want anybody to be codependent on my readings to where they can't function on their own. That's not good. Want you to use your own intuition. Using readings for confirmations and clarity on some shit you already know, or to expand on something, that's cool. But please do not lean on my readings. I can't speak for other readers, but I don't want to be that, okay? I want to help y'all. I want to, you know, with the little light bulb go off and ding, okay? Like, I want to help. I don't want to crutch. I just want to help, okay? Okay. All that being said, because I've been on here for, I was talking for an hour. Time flies. Time is non-existent anyway. It's just, but anyway, much love. I appreciate y'all. See you guys in the next channeling, reading, whatever's up next. Much love. Take care. Be blessed. Have a safe weekend. Till next time. Peace.